Family Pet Nanny here, based in San Marcos, Texas. I am a pet sitter, dog walker, and pet Reiki practitioner. Thanks for watching. I wanted to touch a little bit today about more on homemade dog food that I make for Chachi, and a little bit about natural methods for detoxing your pet, cat and dog. So, in previous videos, you may have seen me post about the natural dog food that I make for Chachi at home, meaning he does not eat kibble or canned wet food. He eats real food, or some people say people food. Um, it's been a wonder for him. It has been turning his health around, and I think it's a positive step in the right direction for both of us. You know, I'm changing my diet and my family's diet as well as Chachi's diet, and the results have been pretty awesome. He has more energy, uh, less, for his small breed, he tends to get the eye boogers, and all kinds of little eye issues and skin allergies. But as I change his diet to real food, and I'm careful about what I add into it, and I only put into it what his system can handle, because there are some foods out there that dogs are just not meant to process, such as raisins, grapes, onion. Some people have a debate about garlic, these things. And there are, of course, some nuts that they should avoid as well. So, but other than those things, I'm careful about what I put into his bowl every day, and we change it up. And I think he really enjoys that. And there is a myth out there saying, like when he was on dog food kibble, they would say, oh, if you're going to transition him from one brand to another, be careful, do it in baby steps, or else you'll upset his tummy. Well, that was true. And I don't know if that is just, manifesting that because of what I was told by vets and, store personnel, or, if that's really true, or because of the content of the dry food. But ever since he's switched over to real food, I give him a different meal every day, and it has not affected him negatively in any way. And I watch his stool very closely because, I take him walking at least twice a day, and I watch him, do his thing, and I inspect the stool just because I'm inquisitive like that to see if it's, doing any harm, and it's not. He has firm, bulky stools. They're healthy, nothing weird going on, no blood in the stool, no diarrhea. Pardon the wind, I'm outside. We're taking care of Willie this weekend, and he and Chachi are out in the garden playing, so I'm here just keeping an eye on them. And it's a gorgeous day here in Texas. Finally, we're feeling the fall weather, so I'm enjoying myself, but my hair might blow my face from time to time, so pardon me. But anyway, back to the food. I wanted to let you guys know that there are some other things that you can do to change up your dog's food. For a while there, I was just sticking to chicken because Chachi loves chicken. There is a debate about bones and if you should do it raw. I myself am not on the raw train just yet with Chachi. I know that, there is history and studies out there that suggest that they are designed to eat raw meat, because out in the wild, that's what they did. They hunted, they killed, and they ate everything: bones, blood, hair, everything. So I'm still on the fence about that. So what I do is I do 50% raw, 50% cooked, meaning that I will cook his meat, but his fruits and vegetables, potatoes, things like that, will be raw. You can cook the whole meal if you prefer. Now, as far as cats go, it is common knowledge in the world of feeding your pets natural food and real food that cats would benefit more from raw meat. Um, there is other things. There are things in the raw meat that will get cooked out that your cat needs. So look into how to feed your cat raw, and I will post a video about that as well. Um, but as far as dogs go, you can do raw or cooked animal fat and animal meat, depending on your preference. I at the moment am just doing cooked. Um, I feel safer that way. I prefer to do organic meats whenever I can. And even if it's not completely organic, our local grocery stores here are doing a really good job about supplying more meats that are hormone free, nitrate free, and non-GMO this and that. So, I mean, I definitely look at the labels. I don't just go grab the cheapest cuts of meat. If you have a local Walmart, their organic ground beef is significantly cheaper than that of any other grocery store in our area. So if you are here in San Marcos or in Texas and you know about the HEB grocery stores, you can get organic ground beef at HEB grocery store for about $12, which I know is crazy, especially if you're on a budget. Walmart has it for half of that, and it's the same amount of meat. It's it's a full pound of organic ground beef. And it's very lean. I've bought it for Chachi several times now. There's literally just like a teaspoon of fat when I drain it. And I do cook it for him. And aside from doing it 50-50, raw, because I like for him to get all the nutrients out of, say, squash, sweet potatoes, things like the carrots, things like that. Another thing that I have found really useful and helpful, especially if I'm pressed for time, as I know some of you are, is slow cooker meals for dogs. I'm really fond of my slow cooker lately just because I'm getting a little tired of cooking. And sometimes I'll do raw, and that helps. Save down on time. You just do the prep and you eat it raw. And then, if it fits into Chachi's diet too, he gets the raw version too. Other than that, just to save time, and because sometimes things come out wonderfully tender in the slow cooker, my family has been indulging in healthy, low-fat, low-sodium slow cooker meals. And I've looked into doing the same thing for Chachi. So what I will do is get all of the ingredients, say brown rice, organic, by the way, sweet potatoes, chicken or fish or, salmon, whatever I'm doing, throw it into the slow cooker. And you want to do it for 4 hours on high or 8 hours on low. And I would advise that you get one that is programmable, because that way, let's say you have an 8-hour job and you got to go to the grocery store, or you have to stop for an appointment on the way home. You may not make it in time to turn off that slow cooker. And unless somebody's home to do that for you, So what's neat about these programmable ones is that you can set it, and then the minute the time runs out, it'll automatically go to warm, so that it's still warm for you and your family or your pet when you get home. But, you haven't overcooked it, or if you're afraid about leaving a heat source on while you're gone, you can rest assured that it is at least at a lower temperature on the warmer setting. So you can do for your pet what you do for your family with your slow cooker, and just be careful about ingredients. And I always say stay away from spices, especially black pepper, salt, garlic, onion powder. These things are not good. There are other spices that are good for dogs, such as rosemary. Chachi eats a lot of rosemary chicken. You can do lemon on your fish or whatnot. Lemon's okay, in small amounts. So I have been doing this for Chachi, and also I have found that it's good to change up the meat. I mean, I can cook him a week's worth of chicken, and after about the third day, he's like, what else you got? So I have discovered sardines are good for him. And you want to get the sardines that are packed in water with no salt added. And of course, rinse, rinse, rinse. And also, I have been wondering about, sources of amino acids, because those are very important for dogs. They need a lot of amino acids. And they say, okay, well, get your dog the meat. Well, sometimes I don't like for Chachi to eat too much meat. So you can also get amino acids from pumpkin, leafy greens. Quinoa is a good source of amino acids, and these are all dog safe foods. So consider those if you are transitioning your dog to vegetarian or vegan, or if you just kind of want to lay off the meat, or if you're on a budget like me and you don't always have the money for organic meats. That is the trouble. Sometimes it can be intimidating to switch your pets to this kind of eating if you're going to spend twice the grocery bill on it. But I will say, I have learned and have been comforted in the fact that, yes, I'm spending a lot more than I would have on kibble and, a 68 cents thing of Caesar wet food. However, I am investing this money into his health with the knowledge and comfort that I will not have to be putting that money into his vet bill because he's ill. Okay? So consider that, and just know that there are other sources, and you can even go online and to places like thrive.com and find organic things at a discount. There are ways to make it affordable, and at the very least, look for, no hormone, no antibiotic meats, lean cuts of meat, and if you cook them, drain the fat, please. There are some people out there that will take the raw bones and the blood and the ligaments and everything and just food process it and make it into a mush. So that way the bones are easier for your pet to eat. That's especially true for feeding your cats because they tend to do better on a raw meat diet as well. They, for as far as cats go, they really are not much for fruits and vegetables. They really do thrive on meaty diets, and it seems to be that raw is the best. So I would go to your local butcher, the butcher inside your grocery store, and see what you can do about getting those kinds of meats for your cat. And make sure the thing about it is you want to try and get organic or the best kind of meat you can, especially if it's going to be raw, because you can't cook the bad stuff out of it. Okay, so what happens with these lower price cuts of meat, the general meat that we've all been eating most of our lives that didn't know any better, is they will take the diseased animals, the lesser quality meat, and grind it up into a nasty paste, stick it in a can, and call it dog food. Okay, so you never know what was in those animals, what they were pumped full of, the conditions that they were raised in, how they were processed. And as a Reiki master and energy worker, I know that you're also getting the energy of the atmosphere where they were, butchered, processed, how they were treated. So if they were not treated in good conditions, you're going to get that crappy energy into your food. And then it's dead energy, and it's diseased, and And you may scoff at that. You may think that's a little silly, but I definitely know it to be true, as working with this energy for over 10 years and seeing the results in my own body and that of my pet. So look into better cuts of meat if you're going to do meat. Dogs do need a lot of taurine, which is found in meat. So again, raw or cooked. And amino acids, there's a debate of, no, they need the meat for the amino acids. And the taurine, yes, some people vegans will tend to supplement. I find that I'm not really completely buying the supplement thing. I'd rather them supplement it with the real foods that provide it. So me personally, I'm still feeding Chachi meat, but there are other plant-based sources of amino acids and taurine that you can get for your pet if you want to skim back on the meat a little bit, or save yourself some money, or see how they do on a vegetarian diet. There are lots of blogs out there with vegan dogs. It's amazing how much they thrive on a vegan diet. So, weigh it for yourself and your pet. And, every pet is different. They all have different needs depending on their age, their energy level, their amount of exercise, their breeds, whether or not they were born with health issues or have developed health issues. So don't do one diet just because I say so or because somebody else says so. Consult with your vet and let them know that this is what you're interested in, and hopefully they will be open-minded enough to advise you on real nutrition and what your pet specifically needs because of, who they are, and does not try to discourage you from that just to push science diet or whatever they're getting a cut from carrying in their office. Unfortunately, some vets are just not schooled on how this works. I myself am not a vet or a trained nutritionist. This is just based on my extensive research for my baby because I want to do better for him and my family. So, look into the slow cooker meals. Look into the raw meat for your cats. Look into raw versus cooked meat for your dogs. And good luck with it. And I think it's doing wonders for Chachi. And I hope that you see a wonderful health turnaround with your pet as well by doing a real food diet for them. So that wraps up the diet portion. But a little bit on natural detoxing. Now, recently, unfortunately, I found a little lump on Chachi underneath the skin. Now, it is a fat polyp only. And what a fat polyp is, one of my first clients years ago, she had a dog that had several of these. I mean, they just looked like, they were huge and they were bulky and some of them looked like teats. And I was like, oh my God, what is that? And she said, the vet doesn't know. They just say it's fat polyps and to leave them alone if they don't hurt. Okay. But I took care of her dogs for a couple of years. And each time I returned, they developed more of these little polyps. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, and they just say, leave them alone and if it doesn't hurt. Is there an explanation? What are they? Where are they coming from? No, they just said they're fat polyps and leave them alone. Okay, see, somebody like me, that doesn't suffice. I want you to tell me as a trained physician for my pet, what is this? If I get a zit or something, I'm going to go, doctor, what is that? And they'll tell you, oh, it's your crappy diet, or, oh, you're stressed out, or it's hormones because you're a woman. They have an answer. So why don't the veterinarians have an answer? And they may honestly not know. However, I have done some extensive research with holistic vets, finding out that fat polyps are in fact the body's way of trying to expel toxins in the body. So, when Chachi developed this little polyp, I said, oh God, well, there could be lots of reasons why he developed that. I mean, I just took him off of his trifexis permanently in August. By the way, if you saw my video about the only natural pet flea and tick tag, it's doing very well. Hi, Willie. Hi, babies. They just came and sat down with me. They heard me talking. Let's see if you can see them. Say hi, Will. Willie. Oh, he's busy itching. Hi. And there's my Chachi boy. I love you both. Okay. So, back to me. Hi. As far as these fat polyps, there's, if they're trying to expel toxins, what could it be? It could be the, pesticides via, flea and tick medicines. It could be the heart guard. It could be unfiltered water. It could be the crap in their processed foods. So, lack of exercise, whatnot. And I have to admit, lately here, Chachi has not been walking as much as he used to. He does get 2 walks a day, but literally we just go around the block so he can do his business and explore a little bit. But I used to walk him a couple of miles a day. So I need to get back on that for my own health and for his, because it seems to obviously be helping expel. And of course, water always flushes your dogs and your system as well. So I decided not to beat myself up and try to pinpoint, and drive myself crazy what toxins were causing this polyp to happen. And by the way, if your pet develops a polyp, please take them to the vet and just make sure that it is not anything worse than a fat polyp. Ways to identify a fat polyp via a holistic vet that I encountered online is that a fat polyp is soft to the touch, kind of gummy, and it's movable. You can move it around. You can move it. It's like, so this one in particular is on Chachi's little chest, and I can move it, and it's soft and gummy. Okay, if it's a hard knot and it does not move, you may want to look into that to make sure that it is not anything worse, and also your treatment options for that. But by all means, don't take, this is not, medical advice. This is not, I am not for sure saying that, oh, it's just a fat polyp if that's what you feel and it's loose and movable and soft. By all means, do your own research, consult your vet. But in Chachi's case, it is definitely just a fat polyp, thank goodness, and we will deal with that. So, what can you do to get rid of fat polyps or prevent more from happening? Detox, detox, detox. So again, we are getting rid of his kibble, no more canned food. I am definitely doing distilled water. I was doing filtered water, reverse osmosis filtered water, because we have a lot of those dispensers posted around town. It's only 40 cents a gallon. But if you really want to go super clean water, distilled is your best bet. So, and Willie, actually, my client here today, he drinks only distilled water. And I remember when I first met them, I said, oh, well, only distilled water. But I see the benefit of it now. So I'm definitely doing that for Chachi. So I'd say in our house, only distilled water for Chachi. I'm sorry. And he's doing very well. And all that gunky stuff around his eyes, if your pet gets that dark, kind of boogery eye stain, look into their cleaning up their water, as well as keeping them away from high processed foods, and especially if you're feeding them kibble and the first ingredient is yellow cornmeal or yellow corn. It's too much carbohydrate, and they're not meant to process corn like that in that amount. Okay, so give that a try and see if that doesn't improve your dog's eye health and the staining around the eyes. Chachi's a Lhasa Apso, and when I got him, yeah, he was just gooey and drippy, and now he stays pretty clean, and I'm very impressed, and his eyes are white, and very pretty, and very clear, so the whites of his eyes. So, what can you do to detox? So, of course, check their water, check their food, and there are 2 natural things that you can do that have been okayed by a holistic vet. One of those things is feeding them green tea. That's right, green tea. So what I have done is I go to the store and I get Yogi brand organic, or when my local grocery store has organic green tea, and I'll brew it in a teapot over the stove like you would for yourself. Let it cool down, and then I pour it into his bowl. At first, when he took a sip, he was like, "This isn't water," but he must have liked it because he drank it. And the thing is at some point I figured maybe I should dilute this so that he can taste more of the water and not get so, taken aback by the fact that it tastes weird. It tastes funny. It's tea. It's not water. And dogs aren't used to drinking tea. But then again, back in the day, I used to see people giving their dogs beer. So I can't see why, a dog would not like something different other than water. Just like we do, they want variety and flavor. But so far, Chachi's been doing good. And you can do it every day. You can do it once a week. Whatever your dog's needs are. I started off with once a week as to not totally throw him off whack and make him go, why is my water tasting weird all of a sudden? It tastes good, obviously, because he drinks it, but, I just baby steps. So you can give them green tea. You can also give them probiotics. Some people say yogurt. I say keep your pets away from dairy. But you can try. I mean, there are pet treats out there that are made of yogurt, and they have, the good gut bacteria in it. Give it to them as a treat. Try it if you would prefer that. I just decided to keep Chachi away from dairy altogether. So the way I do probiotics for him is I get another organic yogi tea, and it's a probiotic tea. And it actually tastes a little fruity aftertaste. It's not sweet by any means, but you can the fruity notes in the aftertaste are definitely present. And it's a cranberry probiotic tea. And so I brew some of that just like I would any other tea, let it cool down, pour it into his bowl, and he drinks that a couple of times a week. So I'll alternate. You know, one day green tea, one day probiotic tea, one day just straight water. And, okay, so that is, one way through, probiotics and green tea. And green tea has the antioxidants to purge the body of toxins. And the probiotics are going to, clean his gut for good gut bacteria, which is, of course, a very important way that our body eliminates toxins, and it's a very important part of your dog's body as well. Another thing you can do is dandelion root. You can, this is funny because I was drinking dandelion root tea for myself because I was having some health issues. I don't know jack about plants. I'm not a botanist. I'm not a gardener. I don't have a green thumb. I'm better at caring for animals because, at least animals can bark and meow when they need something. Plants don't talk, so I kind of tend to ignore them. Next thing you know, they're brown and wilty. So, sorry plants, but I'm trying to do better. And so as far as dandelions, I didn't realize that it was a weed in my yard. I have dandelions all the time, but I kill them. I yank them out of the ground, with a hoe, and we run them over with the lawnmower because we just figured, oh, those are weeds, get them out of here. But they are the pretty yellow flower that, most people will say, oh, that's just a weed, kill it. I'd advise you to stop killing them and use them to detox your dog and yourself. And most of the detox teas that you're going to see with dandelion root out there, it is the root. So you pull up, the flower and the green leaves, and you're left with this whitish color root. Rinse that off really, really well. Hopefully you haven't pre-treated your lawn with anything like Roundup. Or if you find them in the wild and you know that particular part of the ground is not treated with anything, you can use that root, chop it up, let it dry out, make a dandelion root tea for yourself. Or I have actually seen videos of dogs where they snap apart the root, separate the root from the rest of the plant, break it up like you would any other, like a carrot stick, and give it to the dog raw, and they will chew on it like they do on a stick or a dog chew. Some people, and as well as pets, find the taste sweet and actually really good. I myself have not chewed on raw dandelion root. I prefer the tea for the moment, but I have heard that it is sweet. So you might want to see if your dog will actually enjoy chewing on the raw root. It's a very good detoxifier for their system. So those are 2 ways, aside from watching your dog's water and what you're feeding them, to help detox them. So, I'm going to get back to Chachi and Willie. They're kind of waiting on me. They both have toys in their mouths. They want to play now. But thanks for watching. And you guys have a great weekend. Take care of your fur babies. Give them a kiss for me. Shout out to my pet parents and my clients and all animal lovers alike. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and like this video if you found this information informative. Uh-oh. They're after a squirrel. I gotta go. Have a great day. Bye.